What's going on, everybody? So I want to thank you all for coming back and watching another episode on my YouTube channel or podcast, whichever way that you're looking at it. Now, before we get into the episode, I want to just let you all know that I own a graphic design agency. So if you need any type of graphic design services, whether it's a logo, animation, illustration, I don't know, we can put you in an hour-long cartoon and have, I don't know, the Incredibles running around everywhere. Like, it really doesn't even matter. So we can do any and everything. So if you need any graphic design services, reach out to me. You can click the link down below in the description and get 20% off your first order. Now we can get into the episode. Peace. Thank you for watching. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Photo Winners channel. So it is me again, Nate. I'm sitting here eating some cashews. I'm sitting here with my guy, Chase Dimond, man. And we're about to talk about email marketing. So, I always like to give people a little intro, whatever. But, matter of fact, I'm going to give him a little intro, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself. And then we're going to get straight into the questions and to the fun, interesting stuff. So he has a marketing agency specifically with email. So he is the email GOAT. All right. And you all know I've been preaching email for a very long time. And people have been asking me numerous amounts of questions. And I've been telling people I know email, but I don't know email. I know email enough to make money, but I don't know email enough to teach you. So I said, all right, who can I find that knows email that can teach you a couple of things that even I probably don't even fucking know. So I went and found my dude, Chase Dimond. He has a 7-figure marketing agency called Boundless Labs. They specialize in email, e-commerce, and he is on the show. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and give a little introduction, and then we're gonna get into the questions and the fun stuff. So go ahead, bro.
Yeah, dude, appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here. At a really high level, I've been doing email now for about 6 years. I spent the first 2 to 3 years of my career actually doing cold email. And doing cold email in a way that's a little bit different than most people do it. I think when most people think about cold email, they think about B2B, trying to get clients, all of that. I was actually using email on the B2C side. So I was acquiring subscribers for newsletters. I was building forums. I was building massive communities through cold email. So in my first 3 years, I acquired over 1 million community members through cold email, scraping Instagram, scraping SoundCloud, scraping college directories, and sending highly personalized cold emails that were getting 50, 60% open rates and 10 to 15% click-throughs. So I started my career there. And then one of my buddies was in e-commerce. He was doing really well. He saw it kind of as the future of, where the world was going. This was about 3 years ago. So he brought me over into the e-commerce world. And I've been doing e-commerce email marketing for the past 3 years. I have a team of about 30 full-time employees. We work with about 50 clients. Our brands do anywhere from about 1 million to 100 million in annual revenue. We love what we do. We've done $50 million for our clients over the past 2.5, 3 years. So let's get into it. I'm pumped.
So okay, so that right there was a hell of an introduction right there. So you all see he knows what the fuck he's talking about. So let's backtrack a little bit. For people, I have some people who come on to my show and or even a majority of my content like this goes on social. Versus, normal YouTube and whatever, because I'm heavy on putting out social content over other stuff. And that's just my personal thing. But okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Now, email marketing, explain to people what is cold email versus warm email. Just, for people who are literally, because a lot of people only focus really on Facebook ads and they don't think about anything email wise. So talk to them a little bit about cold email and warm email really fast, just to cover the bases really quick.
Yeah, so cold email versus traditional kind of email marketing is the difference between someone opting in and not opting in. Essentially what that means is if I was to go scrape a list or buy a list or purchase a list or find someone's email online that has never, ever heard of me, they weren't expecting a message from me, they did not subscribe to my content, I'm basically sending them a cold email. Hey, Nathan, hey, Nathaniel, this is Chase, came across you on social media. While we don't know each other, X, Y, and Z, right? Obviously, we know each other, so that wouldn't be cold. But in the case that I just met you and I emailed you before to get onto this podcast, that's kind of a cold email. And then the warm email side is you have an e-commerce business, you have an agency, you have something that people want to learn from. They go onto your website, there's typically a pop-up or there's some kind of embedded subscription form, and people enter their email to get 10% off. They email their They enter their email to get on a call with you. They enter their email to receive your content. That is kind of opt-in, kind of warm email marketing where people are taking an action that they're expressing they want to hear from you, and then you are following up with them. So again, the cold email is people that don't know you. You're reaching out to them without their, express intent. And then opt-in email, people are saying, I want to hear from you.
Okay, cool. So now you all know the difference between cold and warm. So after you talk through this conversation, you'll know what the hell we're talking about.
Yes.
All right. Now, one thing that I want to touch on, let's talk about cold email really quick, right? Because a lot of people sleep on this form of marketing, and in all aspects today, just because of like Facebook ads and stuff like that. A lot of people's money is going into Facebook ads, and people think that email marketing is dying for whatever reason. People think that email marketing is dying. Explain to people, like, it's coming from you, the perks of when you first starting like a service-based business, right? Because I tell people to start with cold email marketing first before they get into paid Facebook ads. So that's my personal preference. I don't know if you agree with that, but I tell people to start with cold first because I feel like going with the cold email is way more cost effective, number one, versus doing Facebook ads. And I feel like it's a lot of places for you to fuck up with a Facebook ad versus doing a cold email. So expound on that a little bit. Tell me your opinion on cold email versus running Facebook ads. Give me your opinion on that. Which do you think is like, has a better ROI?
Yeah, I got a couple of thoughts. I think for service-based businesses, right? So agencies or even SaaS apps, things of that nature, more like B2B and whatnot. I think cold email is a no-brainer. I think cold email is a great place to start. However, on the B2C side, if you're selling a physical product, right, you're in e-commerce, I think you have to tap Facebook and Instagram, right? So 100% agree on the service side, start with cold email. To the point that you mentioned, it's a lot more cost effective. You don't have to know Facebook. You don't have to add creatives. You don't have to have headlines. You just have to have a plain text email. It could be a couple lines, pretty easy, right? So, and then that's one. And then two, the reason that I like email so much is it's a channel that's one-to-many, but in a way that feels one-to-one. And what I mean by this is if I send you an email, Nathan, and I can get you to open it, right? So if the from name is familiar, if the subject line is intriguing, if the preview text is interesting, if I get you to open the email, it's just me and you, dude. Like you have, my email on your inbox. There's not all these other distractions that happen on social. With a Facebook ad, and while they're effective, you see a post from your mom, your ex-girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it might be, along with an ad. Like you might get distracted, you might see an ad. But again, ads can be highly effective, so I'm not trying to knock it. I just personally love email because it's so intimate, even though you could be sending the same exact email to 100 people, to 1,000 people, to 100,000 people. We even work with clients that have millions of people on their list, right? So we're sending millions of emails a day for some of these clients to their list in a way that feels like it's for the one person. That's my thought and my take on kind of email.
And that right there, what you said about the attention, that's something that I really didn't think about, which is extremely true. Because when you're opening an email, your attention is really like on that email when you open it. Versus if you're scrolling through an ad, like you're just swiping, like you're just constantly swiping, and it's notifications popping up on your phone from the actual platform itself. Yeah. Plus the other shit that's going on. So that's something that I really didn't even think about, which is extremely true. And like to people, another thing that I want to talk about with the cost effectiveness is like, mind you, y'all, like I started my agency with literally like no fucking money, like literally no money. All I did, I swear to you, I paid like $100 for a list. Like I paid $100 for a fucking list. And I put together the emails that I wanted to send out. They was all just literally like 3 to 4 sentences long, all had a question at the end. And, my contact, you made it look super professional. And then I used like a software called like Mailshake, put that shit in Mailshake, sent them bitches out. And for the list, I paid like $100 for the list. I got like damn near like 3,000 contacts for $100, right? And I just sifted through them. Mind you, I didn't have too much money, so the list wasn't extremely good. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through and really like, you know what I'm saying, filter everything out and whatever. But when it was all said and done, I had about 2,000, 2,300 contacts in there after everything was said and done. Sent that shit out, and literally like it was never a day where I wasn't waking up with somebody like asking me about something. Cause it's like traditional, like it's like, you know how you get those mailers, like, you know how people send out those little notes or letters in your mailbox, and you look at it, right? It's like that same concept, but literally just through fucking email. And the more you send out, the higher, like, you know, not the higher likelihood, but it's like a game of like volume. Like it's like traditional like sales. Like the more outreach, the more fucking people you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So like, with this cold email shit, if you listen to this and you sell a fucking service, like you literally need to be on it. Like, especially for people who are like already in the service industry and already growing, and you still not on it. Cause I was talking to a lady who had a landscape design business in the Hamptons, and I told her about it. She was like, "What is that?" I'm like, you don't know? I'm like, well, how the fuck did you grow? Mind you, they're doing over 10, 15 million in revenue a year. And like, Dave didn't grow. They didn't use that. So I'm like, how? I'm thinking in my head, like, how is that possible? Like, how did you like, just trying to put everything together in my head? But it was like, it's even people that have established businesses that don't even know anything about a cold email marketing campaign. So like, if you literally just started out and you know about it, like, you're going to be really in there. Like, it's going to be really easy for you to fucking scale. And like, the information is out there. You can go on fucking YouTube and get everything that you need. Of course, people are out here selling courses on it and shit like that, but that has its place. But you can literally like go on fucking YouTube and literally like learn the basis of everything that you really need to know in order to really do what you're trying to do. Because mind you, like I told y'all, and y'all know, like, I literally started from zero. So like, completely fucking zero. Like, y'all even see my house on fucking social media. Like, I live in a piece of shit apartment. So like, I be trying to tell y'all, like, listen to what I have to say, because you know I will never lie to you. I will never lie to you. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm not gonna go on a super rant about this. I'm gonna say this for another time. But literally, use the cold email. I've made like, yo. Matter of fact, on another episode, I'm sorry, Chase, I forgot she was on this fucking thing. Another thing, after this fucking thing, I'm going to screenshot. I'm going to literally show y'all my revenue from this shit, so y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. So we about to get back into the podcast. I'm going to get Chase to drop more gems, but I just want to get y'all to understand this before I move on. But all right, we back, Chase. Let's get back on it. I know my podcast is a little untraditional, but this is the way my audience likes this shit, man. So
yeah, dude, you're authentic. You're genuine. I love it.
So, all right, bro. Now moving into warm email, because a lot of people with Shopify stores, they build up lists and they never fucking use them. And a big reason why is simply because they don't know how to. An example of this, I helped this kid, right, like 2 years ago. He was selling do-rags. He hit me up in my DM. Yo, can you help me sell some do-rags, blah, blah, blah. This kid has made over $300,000 on social media selling fucking do-rags. And he has a big-ass list, but he does not use it. Now, how does a person go about using their list that they have built, like after they get the customer emails, et cetera? Like, what's the steps to actually going about building a good campaign, go ahead and break that down, bro.
Yeah, I'll start at a high level. So there's 3 types of emails. The first is a campaign, and I'll explain each of these in a minute. The first is a campaign. The second is a flow, and basically a flow is an email automation. And the third is a transactional email. So a campaign is a one-time send to a group of contacts. So think about a holiday offer, a product launch, Black Friday. Those are all email campaigns where we're pushing to our list this content. An email automation or an email flow is basically like a welcome series or an abandoned cart where someone takes an action and then that triggers an email. Someone enters their email into a pop-up on your website, that triggers a welcome email. Welcome to our list. We're so excited to have you here. Here's the 10% off code that we promised you. And then a transactional email, those are set up within your e-commerce platform by default. So Shopify, WooCommerce, so on and so forth. Those are things like order confirmation, shipping confirmation, and so on, right? So those are the 3 buckets of email. And within each one, right, there's different types of emails that you'll want to send. So for the campaigns, I mentioned it briefly, but you'll have to send things like product launches. When you get a new product on your store, drop that. Anytime that there's a holiday, most brands run like a holiday promotion or a holiday offer. We recently had Valentine's Day, President's Day, all these different types of holidays, right? Those make for great use cases. You want to share things like content. So blog content, user-generated content, things of that nature. Any kind of social proof. So customer testimonials, customer reviews, any kind of press mentions. Those are campaigns. On the automation side, you'll want to set up things like the welcome series for non-buyer, the abandoned carts, the abandoned checkouts. After someone purchases, you'll want to set up a customer thank you. Hey, Nathaniel, thank you so much for your purchase, so on and so forth.
Let me cut you off. So let's talk about the automated series of emails. Let's talk about that there, because people normally send out email blasts, like a one-time fucking thing that, but people don't necessarily know how to schedule, really map out a automated campaign. You know what I mean? So let's start there. Give us a map out template for that.
Yeah, so I think if you're just starting out, there's 3 automations that every brand should start with. The first is the welcome series for non-buyers. So again, someone's on your website, they enter their email into a pop-up. The pop-up might be get 10% off these do-rags, right? Someone enters their email, the first email they get is, welcome Chase, welcome Nathan to our list. We sell premium do-rags. Enter your email for 10% off. Or sorry, here's your code for 10% off. Use code welcome10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order, so on and so forth. If someone ends up purchasing from that email, they'll then move to the post-purchase. Hey, Chase, thanks so much for the order on the do-rag. It means so much to us. We started this business from our garage 3 years ago. We've grown to 10,000 customers. It warms our heart that you wanted to purchase from us. Keep your eye on your inbox. Shipping details coming soon, right? However, if people don't convert on that first welcome email, they'll receive a second, third, fourth email, educating about the brand, nurturing them, providing recommended products, providing customer testimonials, providing all this information that people need to feel comfortable and trustworthy with you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews. We've been featured in press X, Y, and Z. We're sold in Nordstrom's, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, wherever, right? All these different types of things that convey legitimacy and trust is really important. So that's like the welcome series, right? First messages with the customer, getting them up to speed. If people, are interested and engaged in your products, they'll typically add things to their cart and then they'll start their checkout. However, people don't always buy. Why don't they buy? They get distracted. Maybe you didn't have free shipping. Maybe they want to see if you're going to send an offer in your abandoned checkout series. So this abandoned checkout series is really great for reminding people to come back and maybe incentivizing them to purchase. And this basically takes people from heavy consideration into conversion territory. So that's, another automation. And the last one I briefly talked about previously was the post-purchase. So saying thanks for the order, keeping people updated with, shipping and order details, asking them for a customer review once they receive their product and have enough time to actually experience it, selling them additional products that are, complimentary, and so on.
So, okay. So the way that you said it, what I pretty much got out of it is the first set of emails. Number one, how many emails should a person get? In that first welcome series, how many should be in that first welcome series? So
we set up 4 emails there, and then depending on whether someone purchases or not, they might receive 1 email, they might receive 2, 3, or 4. If at any point in time they purchase in that welcome series, they will stop receiving any of the additional 4 emails. So say they've received 2 emails and they bought. They have received 2 emails, and instead of receiving emails 3 and 4, they'll move into the post-purchase. But we want to make 4 attempts to try to give them this content because not everyone's going to convert on email 1, 2, or 3.
All right, so the first is the welcome series. So the welcome series gets a person up to speed with your company. It lets them know this is how experienced we are. This is how good we are. This is why you should be buying from us. right? And that's the welcome series email. That's four emails right there. And the point is because in the point of this welcome series, this is like before they've actually bought, they've attempted to buy, right? So people listening, okay, a person abandons your cart. You got four series of you got 4 emails set up if a person abandons your cart. Now you're trying to get them to go back into your fucking store and say, look, buy this product. So now you're trying to tell them all of this different shit so they can buy it. So like you're like, hey, we just got featured in Forbes. Hey, this happened here. Hey, we got this article, blah, blah, blah. And it's making them be like, oh, wow, blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to eventually go back in and purchase the product. So like that first series should be set up, and it should be like 4 emails that make your company seem very legit, very big and good, a person that wants to buy from you. That's the welcome series, right?
Yeah, we kind of blended in the welcome series and like the abandoned checkout on that, but like the welcome series is 4 emails, education, nurturing, you nailed it there. And then the abandoned checkout, you mentioned some good points there around like pushing people over the edge, reminding them what they left behind. And that typically will be 2 to 3 emails.
Sweet. All right. That's the welcome series. Now moving into the second portion after the welcome series, which is
the abandoned checkout or the abandoned cart one that we just briefly talked about. Yeah.
Okay. Boom. Now moving into the post purchase emails.
Yeah.
Post purchase emails. I want to know how many emails should be in that, and also what are you doing after they buy? Like, how are you like, what process of like staying top of mind with the customer after that post-purchase email?
Yeah, so post-purchase. So typically the first post-purchase email is a customer thank you, right? Thanks people for purchasing from you. You want to have a customer thank you for a first-time purchaser. That's a little bit different from a repeat purchaser. So you're going to want to say thank you after people order. You're going to want to speak to a first-time customer a little bit differently than you would a repeat customer. And then from there, you're going to send them any kind of information that they might need to know about the product. So for example, we worked with a company that sold weighted blankets. So they're like these weighted blankets. It was called calming blankets. And what we noticed is a lot of people were asking customer service, like, how do I know if this is working? Or I'm not sure how to use it. So we basically took that and we turned it into an email. While you're waiting for your weighted blanket, Nathan, wanted to let you know this is 3 ways our customers have found the most value. Use it like you're giving someone a hug. Use it to ground yourself, and then use it like as a blanket, like whatever it might be. I don't remember the exact 3, but basically educating them about ways to use it while they're waiting. So that way, as soon as they get it, they know what they're doing, and that reduces the number of customer support tickets. That reduces the number of returns, right? It reduces their buyer's remorse. It really improves that experience when they actually receive it. Once they actually receive it, hey, we're so excited that you got the product. We hope you're going to enjoy it. Just to let you know, we're here if you have any questions. Then maybe like a week or 2 after they've received it, hey, wanted to check in to see how you're enjoying it. If you're happy with it, please, go ahead and send us a picture of you using it. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever it might be. Great. After that, it's like, hey, by the way, if you're loving this calming blanket, wanted to let you know about our pillows, our onesies, like whatever it is that you sell. You're going to want to cross-sell and upsell complementary products that the people have not purchased already.
And okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So the post-purchase email, the point of that email is to, number 1, improve the experience of receiving your product. Number 1. Secondly, it's also a safety net, so you don't have people coming back with returns or like other extra shit as well. So for people who don't like losing money, which nobody likes losing money, this is a big reason why you need to be having this post-purchase email, especially for people who try to complain about chargebacks and all type of stuff like that. This will probably save you a lot of time and frustration, aggravation, and tweets and Instagram posts, subliminally cursing out your customers if you set up. This will save you a lot of those subtweets and subliminal disses if you set up the post-purchase email series, y'all. And it's telling, and the big thing that he explained is explain to people how to use the product. That's an easy one that anybody can do. Explain to people different ways that you can use the product. Say if I just bought an air fryer like a week ago. I bought an air fryer. I wish they would have sent me a cookbook or something like that so I can know how to use it. They probably made a lot of money off of me from cookbooks, but they didn't send me anything. So I just went and found a girl on Twitter that sold cookbooks and bought her cookbook, and her shit is so good. But that's besides the point. So the post purchase email, is that educating the person on how to use the product. Give one more clean example of a good post purchase email.
Yes, we went through the customer thank you. We went through product education. We went through cross-selling and upselling. Basically like a customer win back. So if people have purchased, they have not taken you up on any additional upsells or cross-sells, after 2 months of them not buying again from you, you'll want to send them a customer win back email to get them back into the loop and whatnot. So
that right there is very important what he just said, because I actually talked about this not too long ago. So let's go back. Explain to people, number one, say thank you, you ungrateful bastard. Say thank you. Secondly, educate people on how to use the product. Cross-sell, upsell, that's always great. That's 3 emails right there that you can use after a person purchases the product that you can set up. Now, going into the customer win back, that is very, 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 very important, whether you sell a service or a product. Because what I tell people is like, a lot of time, of course, you want more customers, but a lot of you all have not squeezed all of the juice out of the fruit that you just picked. Like, you have to go back and ask people to buy more stuff. Like, you have to do it because people, if your shit is good, people are going to want to keep spending the money with you. And this may sound fucked up, but like, they'll do whatever to buy your product. Like, people are so bad with money, like they'll just spend money on literally anything if you catch them at the right time, the right point, and you have a good ass offer. So like, just think of Black Friday. You know how many people did not have money on Black Friday, but they went out and bought some shit? Like, why? Your water is off, but you're paying for a fucking flat screen TV. Like, that is my point. So like, listen, you have to go back and you have to get people to buy more stuff, yo. Because I'm telling you, you'll just make so much more money if you go and do that. So like, customer win back email, like how you said, that's very, very important. Now, how soon before you send a person a customer win back email?
Yeah, it depends. Typically, we send it anywhere on the early side about 2 months later, and on the later side about 3 to 3.5 months. So we're typically looking at somewhere between like 60 to 90 days, and we'll test the different intervals of 60, 75, 90, just to kind of see how it goes. And it also depends too, like on what people are purchasing, right? If they're purchasing, let's say, a mattress, sending a win back email at 60 days probably doesn't make sense, right? That mattress will probably be good for 1 to 3 years, potentially even more. If someone is selling something like a supplement and people don't buy it for 2 months, you probably should hit them up, right? They probably need their multivitamin, or else, they might be going out throughout their day without that extra juice, right? So it just depends on what you're selling, but most cases, somewhere between 60 to 90 is probably a good place to start.
Okay. So 60 to 90 days, and that's if they have not purchased something from you. Right.
So the win back is basically for people. Yeah, exactly. They purchased from you previously. They have not purchased from you in the last 60 or 90 days. So they bought from you today in February, and then April or May. If they haven't purchased from us again, we will hit them back up like, yo, Nathaniel, what's up? We missed you. Here's what we've been up to. We've launched a couple new products. We've got a lot of really great new reviews. We've been rolled out in Macy's, Nordstrom's, wherever. And here's a 10% off code. Like, we'd love to get you back. We know you probably want to come back. Let's make this happen.
Cool. Okay. So you heard him, 60 to 90 for the customer win back. Now, let's I don't think I asked you this question about how spaced out your forward, like in your welcome series and also your post-purchase series in the mid, the series in the middle as well. Like, how spaced out do you think those should be as far as?
The welcome series with the 4 emails, you'll typically send the 4 emails over the course of like the first week to week and a half. So email 1 will go right away. Email 2 might go like 1 or 2 days after. Email 3 might go like 2 or 3 days after, and then email 4 would go another 2 or 3 days after. So people would receive the first 4 welcome emails over the course of a span of 7 to 10 days. The abandoned checkout, which was the second one we talked about, people were typically receive that 2 to 4 hours after they abandon their checkout, right? They leave the checkout 2 to 4 hours after. Typically, email 2 will go 1 day later, and then email 3 will go another day after that. So people will receive 3 typically abandoned checkout emails over the course.
It's pretty aggressive. I understand why it needs to be that way. It's like, why? I mean, not why, but for the abandoned checkout, like, how many different ways can you tell a person they forgot to like buy something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you have to keep in mind, not every person's going to open and see every single email. So of the 3 that we send, someone might only realistically open 1 or 2. And then from there, also, the reason that we send so many so quickly.
Like, what are you saying, though?
Oh, it depends, right? Like, it depends on what you're selling. Like, if you're only selling a few SKUs, if you have like 1 or 2 or 3 SKUs, you could have really custom tailored emails about, hey, this mattress, right? Like, you could go into details about product benefits and features and reminding them to come back and offering them, free shipping, right? And then the next email, it's like, oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw our last email, you're about to miss out. This item's selling quickly. Here's 10% off, right? So it's a lot of like psychology and a lot of like reminders and a lot of kind of like subtle nudges to get people to actually take action. And we try to do it within that quick time frame, because anything over like 2 or 3 days, like, you're going to forget about us. Maybe you bought from a competitor. Maybe you've moved on. Like, that window of time, like that first 24 to 48 hours is really crucial, because again, that's when people have high consideration, because they obviously made it through your funnel, got to the very end and didn't buy for whatever the reason was. Okay.
That makes sense. And in every email, you're telling them to buy something in every email too, right?
In most cases, yes, with the exception potentially of like the last email. It could be something like, hey, I saw my team sent you 2 emails over the last, 24 hours, 48 hours. Wanted to check in to see if you had any questions, right? So it could be buy. And then a step back, it's like, hey, you haven't purchased. Let's talk. What's going on? Is it us? Is it you? Is it, what can we help solve? What can we help answer? What can we help clear up that makes our product an obvious yes?
Okay. No, that's very clear. So look, tell them how much over what we just went over in this entire welcome, abandon, post-purchase. How much of an increase in revenue can they really be expecting if they set this up, if they automatically set this up? I know it's depending on, but just give them some motivation of like success stories that you have seen with brands that have done this.
Yeah, again, I don't want it to seem like there's any silver bullets. In email, you have to do a lot of things consistent, a lot of things well. So the 3 automated series we talked about, the campaigns, right? Having all these things in place. If you're consistent with it, if you're really building and optimizing it, and you add a couple additional things, some of our clients are doing, as high as like 40 or 50% of their revenue from email, with most are probably doing between about 20 to 30% of their revenue from email. So again, it really depends on where you're at today. If you're at 0% of your revenue from email and you add these things, maybe you can get to 5% or 10% of your revenue coming from email pretty quickly. But again, there are these things and more things that you have to do that add up over time. So we work with 7, 8, and 9-figure stores. These guys are doing $100,000 a year. They're doing $1 million a year. They're doing $10 million a year from email, right? It really depends on where they're at. There's a lot of money that's currently being left on the table if you're not doing the things that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm. And we're about to move on to a different little topic, but just to pin this up, like, I've went through a lot of stores, purchased from them, even huge stores that don't have everything that I just talked about set up. they may have like a thank you for purchasing or like one abandoned cart email, you know what I'm saying? But they don't have this entire series set up at all. Yeah. And even as far as getting me back, like for example, me, I'm very big on buying from my friends. So like, if anything that I have, like if my friend sells it and it's good, and mind you, if it's good. So if any of my friends using this not buy a shit, it's because it's not good. And you all know that I'm being completely honest. So like if I buy it, if it's good and I buy it, I'm gonna always buy it. So like for example, one of my friends, she has a beauty brand and she sells like facial stuff and like soap and whatever, and I only buy from her. That's my soap person. I've never bought another brand since she started that thing. So the big thing about her is she never sends me any type of emails to like, I use up the product and then I don't get another one for a long ass time. And if she would have sent me something, like if she would have sent me something, I would have been buying it like on a more like consistent, basis. She probably would have made like 2 times as much money from me if she, would have sent me these series and the things that he's talking about. Yeah. So like, saying that to say, you all get this stuff done. And also I'm going to make sure that we clip all of this too and like map it out and order and stuff like that. And, get it typed up so you all will be able to follow this and stuff as well. Also, he has a course on email marketing too that goes like way more in depth than what he just explained on this podcast. And you all know, like, I do not co-sign people like ever really. So like, and you all know. So every time I do, is always a good person. So like, this guy. Definitely, he got the course. I'm gonna make sure that we click that and put it down below.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So going into personal branding. So I see you've been getting heavy on that. And like, what inspired you to want to start moving and building a personal brand?
Yeah, I think when you have a service-based business, which is what I've had for a long time, there's very few moats, right? It's really hard to build a moat around an agency. There's a million other people offering the same service, a million other people that are willing to undercut you on price, right? And then if you play the price game, it's basically a race to the bottom, right? Whoever has the lowest price wins, and there's a whole bunch of issues with that. When you have a personal brand and when you have some brand that people trust and want to work with, price normally isn't the factor for why people want to work with you. So we're able to, through a personal brand, charge the rates that we want to charge, work with the brands we want to work. It's also a recruitment tool for talent. Really talented people want to work with people that have personal brands. So basically, from everything I've seen,
let me cut you off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut you off right there. The people who worked for me in the beginning, mind you, Chase, I don't even think you fucking know this, but like, I had built a community like 3 years ago prior to me starting my agency, and I built it up to over 2,000 members, and I really wasn't making money from it, but I built up a good personal brand, like to the point where when it was time to start, shit just started like booming off top. The people who worked for me in the beginning, I put out a post. I just said, yo, I don't have the money to pay a video editor. I don't have the money to pay a social media manager who wants to work for me. I got so many people volunteering to work for me for free. Obviously, I pay them because I'm not an asshole, but that I was able to do that because I built a personal brand to the point where people it was a person that works for Viacom that wants to edit my fucking videos. He doesn't need the money at all, but he literally just fucks with me like that. So like, he just volunteered to do it, and that's all from like building a personal brand. That's why I'm so adamant on it, is because it pays you in so many different ways and helps you in so many different ways. But I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but I just wanted just to throw it in there. But all right, go ahead. So yeah, so you talk about it's a recruitment tool. All right, go.
Yeah, again, like people want to work with people that are willing to put themselves out there and willing to be wrong, right? Like, I throw so much stuff out there that, it's my best judgment, it's my opinion, and a lot of times I'm wrong, but even more times, I'm right. And I think people really respect and admire someone that's willing to give everything away, right? Like, even if people don't go buy my course, there's so much free game that I'm giving out through my newsletter, through Twitter, that people are going to be successful, right? So really long-winded, by building a personal brand, you build this moat around whatever it is that you're doing. It's going to be successful. And you can pivot the audience that's going to follow you from a service to a course to a SaaS, right? Like we've seen time and time again, people on Twitter that are doing this, right? So to me, a personal brand is everything. It communicates integrity, it communicates trust, communicates values, right? And my business went from having to do a lot of cold outreach about 3 years ago to at this point, I haven't had to do a single ad or cold outreach for clients in the past year and a half. We have 50 current clients. We have another 30 people that want to work with us on a wait list right now. So I'm booking 3 months out. I'm naming my price. It's a one call close. There's no case studies I have to send to people. It's a different beast and a different nature when business comes inbound.
So you all see now, let's talk about what you choose to post and what you choose not to post. So like, has there ever been a time where you felt obligated to post something that you really did not want to post, but you felt like you had to because you felt like it made you seem more authentic? Has there been a time like that?
No, dude, I post whatever I want to post and people either like it or they hate it. My content consists of agency, email marketing advice, tactics, tips, guides, and my family, right? So I post literally those are the 3 categories. How we're doing with our agency, how we've done it.
Let's talk about you posting your family, because that's a big thing right there. Some people feel like they need to post their family in order to feel more authentic. So like, and what I tell people is, post what you want to post.
Yes.
Literally, post what you want to post. Don't feel obligated to post something because another person is doing it or because you feel like it's going to make you feel more genuine. Like, for example, nobody's ever seen what my mom looks like. Nobody's ever seen what my brothers, anybody in my family looks like. Chase, on the other hand, chose to do that out of his own personal choice, right? On the other hand, I let people see my shitty apartment. Other people don't want people to see their shitty apartment for various reasons that I will probably go in on another day, because people are just incredibly insecure about everything. But that's another conversation in itself. But going back into what I was talking about, post what you want to post. Don't feel obligated to post something because it makes you feel more. It makes you think you're being more authentic, or because you see another person doing that. Post what you want to post. Like I told you, Chase posts his family. I don't. Other people don't post their house. I do. So like, you choose what exactly you want to put out there. You control your own page. It's your page. It's not anybody else's page. It's your page. Like this is the reason why you see girls like I witnessed girls start from being a model on Instagram to being a porn star over the span of 1 year. And you can tell because they're probably watching other girls post certain shit, or maybe they get a certain amount of likes on certain things. So they feel obligated to keep doing that until they just get lower and lower and lower. And you know what I mean? So like, post what you want to post. Remember, it's your page. Nobody controls your page. You control your own page. So like, that's one big thing that I want to get across. And like, you see the what's the name? You see like the benefits of it. He said he hasn't had to do any type of outreach in over 1.5 years, just because he's been putting effort into building his personal brand. You heard me. I didn't have the money to hire a lot of my staff like in the beginning. I didn't have even right now. I don't have the money to hire on a full-time person to edit this fucking podcast. So like, but I have a fucking person that volunteered to do it, multiple people, because I built a personal brand. So like, this is why I tell people like, it's a lot of benefits to doing it, yo. So yeah. So it's one last thing. What's your opinion on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn for a long time, dude. I started it when I was in college. I've probably been on LinkedIn for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, maybe 8 years. I was really bullish on LinkedIn in the early stage. I really enjoyed it. And then I got a lot of reach, right? I had certain posts that were getting hundreds of thousands and millions of impressions. And then I got so much business that I had to like take a step back. And I think by me kind of going cold on LinkedIn, it really affected my reach, right? A lot of these platforms reward consistency. And I was really consistent for a long time, and I really reaped the rewards and benefits. And then I went dark. And then when I kind of came back, it just wasn't the same. Like posts before that used to get tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views would only get 1,000 or 3,000 views, right? And I don't know. I like LinkedIn. I post there, but I like other platforms more. I'm a lot more passionate about Twitter. I'm a lot more passionate about YouTube. But unfortunately, I think you have to be on all the platforms, right? I think you have to have a presence because LinkedIn is very business oriented. A lot of people look at my LinkedIn from other platforms. It ranks high on Google when people search for my name. So I think there are benefits to LinkedIn. I just like it less than I used to like it before.
Yeah, I want to talk about LinkedIn, yo. So like, number one, people sleep on LinkedIn. Like outside of people that are trying to look for jobs, like people sleep on LinkedIn. They don't really understand it. Only people that really understand it is people that's really doing like big numbers. Like that's people that really understand like the opportunity that's on LinkedIn from an opportunity standpoint. Because the whole mindset of people on LinkedIn is like very, like how you said, very business oriented. So, and people have the money to spend on LinkedIn because they're already in business mode. So like already. And so, and then plus the people that are on there, you can literally say if you sell a candle, you can connect with the fucking marketing director of Target and then build a relationship with the marketing director of Target. And then eventually fuck around and do something with Target, like literally. So like, and I'm just speaking from experience because I've had this happen myself. Even how I got Chase on this podcast right now, I've been talking to him for like months. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Building a relationship with him to the point where I asked him, yo, you want to come on my podcast and talk to me? So like, you can do that same thing on LinkedIn, yo. So like, a lot of people don't understand like the value that's really there and the type of people that are there and the type of relationship that you can really build and the whole mindset of people there. Also, another thing about LinkedIn is that there's not enough content on LinkedIn. That's one big thing about LinkedIn. It's not enough content. So how he said his reach was crazy on LinkedIn, my reach isn't nowhere near as crazy as his reach on LinkedIn. But like your post on LinkedIn will last a long ass time. And like people that see it, like people will really see your shit. Like the algorithm is really just rewarding anybody because it's not enough. It's a supply and demand issue on LinkedIn. It's not enough people putting stuff out. So like they're just rewarding anybody like for anything. So like you should, like, people listening to this, I say this all the time, but I'm just saying it again. And I just wanted him to say it out of his mouth too. So I can have another person saying something about LinkedIn, but you need to be on LinkedIn, yo. And even people who do crazy shit, like maybe you do music, you don't even sell any, like you don't even sell a service or product. Maybe you just do music. You should be on LinkedIn, like networking with people in the music industry. Like it's so many different things you can do. And when you go on LinkedIn too, not to keep ranting because I like ranting. So like when you go on LinkedIn too, be authentic. Like be yourself on LinkedIn. Everybody tries to be a multimillionaire on LinkedIn. I'm gonna tell you right now, the best thing that I've ever posted on LinkedIn was my shitty apartment on LinkedIn. That's the best thing that I've ever posted on there. Because number one, it's a damn I can't remember the word for it. But like when a person is scrolling and it makes them stop because it's like out of, it's out of normal. It's not normal. Like, so like as people are scrolling, they see this fucking apartment and they like, and mind you, in the beginning of my clips, I don't even be in it. I just literally just leave the fucking wall, like, and just show and I go in the most worst angle possible. So when they scroll, they're going to stop and then they're going to look at what the fuck is this? And then I'll come in the video and that's just me, like literally just being myself. But I've gotten deals like off of that type of stuff just because I'm literally just like literally just being myself. So like when you go on LinkedIn, like don't be afraid to like just be who you naturally are. Like I've said some crazy shit on LinkedIn. Like the other day, not even crazy. Like the other day, what did I say? I said something. Oh, fuck, we got like 10 minutes left, young. But I just want to just say this. But like the other day, I had posted some. What did I say? I was like all men. I was like women don't like nasty ass men. And then I was like every man needs to have a exfoliating shower mitt and exfoliate their face and get the dead skin off of their face. And then I was like, every man needs to have a damn shower brush to wash their fucking back. And I was like, it's too many fucking men not washing their fucking back. And then I put that up and people were messaging me about that. Like, what, who would post something like that on LinkedIn? Nobody. Like, nobody would post something stupid like that on LinkedIn. But I was getting people messaging me and talking to me, and people responding to me. Even people that I messaged that didn't even fucking message me back, bastards. But they they responded to me just because I'm literally just being naturally just like who I am. You got to understand, like, the internet is too fucking big not to be yourself. That's one thing that people got to understand. The internet is too fucking big to not be yourself. Like, it'll be different if you only had a solid controlled group of people that you had to connect with. Now you got to act like some shit that you're really not. But we have the fucking internet. So it's millions of people on the fucking internet, and you can be yourself, and maybe out of the million, 100,000 will fuck with you. And then now you just build with that 100,000 and just keep like, so just to conclude my rant, because I'll fuck around and be on your rant forever. But be yourself on LinkedIn. And like I said, men who are watching this, get an exfoliated mitt and wash your fucking back. Women do not like nasty ass men. All right. But that's beside the point. But literally, LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. All right, my bad, Chase, but I had to talk to them. All right, so we back in. But yes, you have hey, Chase is looking at me like, bro, this dude is fucking crazy. But literally, it's I'm being serious. Like, you just gotta be on LinkedIn, yo. Get on there, go crazy. So in this entire podcast, look, we talked about cold email. We talked about the importance of cold email. Then we went into like little stuff. Then we talked about warm email, when person to purchase from you, interact with your site. We went through a whole process of how to do that. Now, I told you, Chase has a course on how to do this as well. So you can buy his course if you want more information. This is only like a 45-minute podcast. So obviously we can't go through the entire dictionary of email, but we just went through the pure basics for you to know. Then we talked about personal branding. You see the benefits of personal branding. Him on his end, he hasn't had to talk to anybody in over a year. Me on my end, I didn't have the money to hire a videographer, or not a video editor and a social media manager, and people just started offering. Literally, I posted something the other day, like, can somebody make my beats? And somebody offered to do it. So like, right there, you see the benefits of it. And even how I grew my agency, how I'm growing my agency is through a lot through my personal brand. Then lastly, we talked about LinkedIn and the benefits of LinkedIn, because I really just wanted him to say something about LinkedIn so I can have more proof as to why you need to be on LinkedIn. Now, that is the overview. So Chase, let them know where they can find you on social media and any additional information that you want them to know before we conclude, bro.
Yeah, toss me a follow on Twitter. A lot of free email marketing game. You'll definitely learn a lot. My handle is ecom Chase Dimond, and there's no A in Diamond. So it's ecom, and then Dimond is Dimond. So ecom Chase Dimond on Twitter. Nathan, my guy, I appreciate you having me. I'm really pumped for this to go live. And if anyone has any questions, please just let me know.
Bam. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And that is it for this episode. Peace.